will lose their life in that kind of dastard manner in Iba. I've said this for the often time. Anybody who is in River State will bear me witness that there cannot be any shortcut to wealth. And I also have said to traditional rulers that they have a duty. It is not enough to be given recognition. They have a duty to expose criminal elements within their neighborhood. And of course, this can only happen.
Well, Dr. Lloyd also identified Obele, Rumuji, and Ndele as communities where illegal oil refining activities persist. He, however, raised questions about the military's role in addressing these challenges in Iba community.
It's currently going on in Rumuji, going on in Ndele, it's going on in Obele. And for all this, I have raised alarm to security agencies. It is not as if security agents or agencies are not aware of what is going on. I have always asked a simple question. How do these people transport this crude? There is an army formation in Iba. In fact, theirs is that they even fenced off the road. So how do these people move?
In another development, vehicles and a market were burnt when gunmen suspected to be members of the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB's Eastern Security Network, ESN, attacked Ezambo Junction along Abakaliki-Enugu Expressway in Ebonyi State today. The situation forced people to scamper for safety. The spokesperson of the Ebonyi State Police Command, Onome Onovwa Boyeya, said no life was lost in the incident. He assured that efforts are ongoing to arrest the gunmen. Moving on, the family of an 80-year-old man is seeking the help of the general public to find their father. They said the elderly man left their home around West Point, Alakahia, in Obiakpo local government area of Rivers State last Wednesday and has not been found since then. His daughter, Bakare Bosede, tells our correspondent that her father isn't very healthy.
We have tried to look for him around Alakaya. We didn't see him. We have gone to Ospark. We have gone to Shoba police station. Till now, we have not seen him. He's 80-something. I don't know what he wear out. We didn't even know when he went out. His leg is swollen. He's very elderly. He's not looking healthy. And if he's walking, he's bending. He's not walking straight and he's walking slowly. Anybody that's seen him should call this number 070 3156 0607.
Away from that, the Labour Party deputy governorship candidate in Rivers State, Sam Kinane, says the party will appeal the judgment of the Governorship Election Petition Tribunal in Abuja that dismissed their petition challenging the election of Governor Siminalayi Fubara of the PDP. Mr. Kinane, in an interview with correspondent Martha Okerenkem, said Nigerians are not surprised by the recent judgments from the judiciary.
If we end it here, we'll not be able to let Nigerians feel the pains we feel the pain of the robbing that was done at the election. One thing I keep telling people, whether we get the kind of justice that we expected or not, if we do not take the matter to court, the court will say, yes, we were waiting, they did not come. Now that we have taken it to the court and we have shown every evidence available, they have come to do a nullification. So we are still going to take it to the Supreme Court and let's also hear from them.
Earlier, the three-member tribunal led by Justice Cletus Emifonyi dismissed the Labour Party's petition for lacking in merit and for failing to prove their allegations. Recall that the Labour Party, the APC and their candidates filed a petition before the tribunal following the declaration of Siminalayi Fubara as the winner of the March 18th governorship election in the state. On 13th September, the tribunal reserved judgment in the petition filed by the Rivers APC governorship candidate Tony Cole, seeking the nullification of Governor Fubara's victory. In the same vein, the Nasarawa State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal has sacked APC's Abdullahi Sule as the Nasarawa State Governor. 2 out of the 3 justices of the panel, led by Justice Ezekiel Ajayi, declared David Umbugadu of the PDP as the winner of the 2023 Nasarawa State governorship elections. Now, the Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal in Yola has dismissed the petition of the SDP and its candidate, Umar Ado, against the Adamawa State Governor, Umaru Fintiri. In her judgment, the chairman of the tribunal, Justice Theodora Uloho, said the petition was not properly instituted before the tribunal. She also said the petitioners were not sure of what they wanted. Moving on, a Port Harcourt-based human rights advocate, Henry Ekine, has described President Bola Tinubu's Independence Day speech as a collection of promises with no concrete solutions to address Nigeria's challenges. Mr. Ekine, who is also the National Legal Advisor of the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, said Nigerians were expecting the president to highlight his achievements since taking office on May 29th.
It appears that the president has not realized that elections have been concluded and is now the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, elected to fix problems, not to continue to make promises and then to seem to be campaigning. He should have come on this speech to say, oh, the students' loan thing, we have been able to give 1,000 loans and in concrete terms. So all of the things he's been saying since May 29 have been promises. He's supposed to be telling us what results he has achieved in any of the issues he has raised. The economy, security, have we been able to say we have recorded any shift at all in terms of security in this country? No. Or corruption? No.
Well, Mr. Ekine said there has been no significant improvement in any of the sectors since President Bola Tinubu came into office.
As far as I'm concerned, since May 29th and now, every aspect of what he has mentioned has rather worsened. So there is no hope. There would have been hope where we are measuring to say in the economy, we've been able to reduce interest rates. We'll be able to reduce inflation. But he still mentioned here, we are going to make fiscal policies and monetary policies to be able to address the issue of rising inflation. You are still thinking about what to do, and inflation is rising. Since May 29th, it has rather risen above what it was. Unemployment rate has risen above what it was. Interest rate has become something we can't even imagine. So that's the nature of the economy.
A renowned educator, Ike Chinwogu, says insecurity has hindered government unity schools from promoting national unity. Sanwogu, while speaking on the educational sector as Nigeria marks her 63rd independence anniversary, said the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, plays a better role in promoting national unity.
We integrate better with the youth service scheme. We're older, we're adults, and we can get into price pepper and price salt and communicate better. But right now, it's being defeated by insecurity. So I think we need to deal squarely with the security issues because it's absolutely meaningless. The purpose is being defeated when we only reduce corps members to elections. You realize that, corps members could be more useful. Community service, in fact, some of them are so loved by the communities that they want to stay over, and that's nationhood. It should be promoted.
Osai Kechinwogu also said Nigeria's education sector does not need politicians but educators who understand the sector.
When I say politicians, I'm not talking about those who are enthusiastic about education. So you want to hire a professor to come run the Ministry of Education. He's professor of what? If you get a professor of fisheries, is he going to be very effective as commissioner for education, as minister of education? Does he even have an interest in education? And so education is too serious a business to be left to the hands of people who are not educationists, but just simply because they are professors.
Well, on his part, another educationist, Ben Nyewusira, called for a transformation in the educational sector to cultivate the skilled workforce needed to drive the nation's economy. He said addressing the state of education could serve as a powerful tool in addressing the persistent insecurity challenges across the nation.
No nation rises above the level of his education. So let him fix the educational sector so that we'll produce the requisite manpower to drive the economy. That is what other nations are doing, capacity building, and so we shouldn't be left out.
Still to come, Labour, federal government resume negotiation. Stay tuned.
Child abuse is when you
Thanks for staying with us. The Organised Labour is currently meeting with the federal government team at the Chief of Staff Conference Room, Presidential Villa, Abuja. The meeting is to brief the government team on the resolutions of the organs of the two labour centres over the concessions and offers made to the workers by the government. Recall that after yesterday's meeting, the leaderships of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, and the Trade Union Congress, TUC, agreed to take the new government offer to their various organs for consideration in order to call off tomorrow's proposed strike. Well, President Bola Tinubu on Sunday evening succumbed to the 35,000 naira provisional wage increment demand by Labour after his initial 25,000 naira approval for the average low-grade worker to run for 6 months was rejected. Elsewhere, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has secured an arrest warrant for former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Diziani Alison Madueke. The EFCC acting spokesman, Dele Oyewale, confirmed this to newsmen today. Well, the anti-graft agency has also initiated extradition proceedings to bring the former minister back to Nigeria. Well, recall that Ms. Alison Madueke was arraigned today at the Westminster's Court in London, United Kingdom, following alleged bribery allegations. Although the charges brought against her at the London court are different from the 13-count charges bordering on money laundering that the EFCC raised against her. A Kenyan Pan-Africanist and human rights activist, Patrick Lumumba, says the liberation of Africa will not come by religious exercises. Professor Lumumba, who is a founding trustee of the African Institute for Leaders and Leadership, spoke at a non-political and non-denominational program, The Platform, in Lagos State today, where he said to save Africa, conflicts and the change of governance must be dealt with. In other news now, a cheap malaria vaccine that can be produced on a massive scale has been recommended for use by the World Health Organization. But the vaccine has been developed by the University of Oxford and is only the second malaria vaccine to be developed. And in business, a former Director General of the Bureau of Public Service Reforms, Joe Abba, has called on the government not to overburden entrepreneurs with taxes. Dr. Abba said this today while speaking on The Platform. He said people who make money must pay taxes, but those taxes must be streamlined such that entrepreneurs are not made to pay for the inefficiencies of the country. In entertainment, comedian Basket Mouth has apologized to his colleague AY Maku and others he might have offended in the entertainment industry. And in sports, Liverpool have made a formal request to the governing body for referees, PG Mall, for the audio from Saturday's 2-1 defeat by Tottenham, where the video assistant referee failed to overturn an incorrect decision to disallow a Luis Diaz goal for offside. Well, PG Mall said the decision to rule out the goal was a significant human error.
And now, we bring you news from around the world.
Niger has accepted an offer from Algeria to mediate in its political crisis. Algeria's foreign ministry said the mediation will be led by President Abdelmajid Tebboune. Algiers has repeatedly warned against any military response to the crisis in neighboring Niger, where the army seized power in July. Well, the West African regional bloc, ECOWAS, initially threatened to intervene militarily, but has been pursuing diplomatic efforts to resolve the crisis. And that's the news this evening. But before we go, another look at the highlights of the major stories. On the news this evening, you heard that over 30 people have been feared dead in a fire explosion at Iba community in Rivers State. Labour Party in Rivers State says it will head to the Supreme Court after the tribunal struck out its petition. Labour unions have resumed negotiation with the federal government. The WHO has recommended a second malaria vaccine for children. On the foreign scene, you heard that Niger has accepted an offer from Algeria to mediate in its political crisis. The news was edited by Martha Okerenkem. Cloudy weather in Port Harcourt this evening. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808. Let peace reign. I am Constance Mega. Thank you so much for listening. Good evening.